September is by far the best month we've seen all summer. It might be the best month of the entire year so far, actually. And it's not because of Travis Scott Jordan 1 fragments. It's not because of a bunch of other great Jordans that are dropping or a bunch of sleeper cooks we're going to be seeing. You'll see, but there's even more than just scheduled releases coming in September. And one of them is going to be a really big shock drop. As always, when it comes to any kind of shock drop, as you guys know, we post all the early info inside of Endurance, which you could join with the link in the description. Obviously, you guys probably know what happened with the recent brick by brick situation, and check out that update video if you haven't already. But this just goes to show, like, we're not fooling around here. We really do have the early information, everything you guys need to cop early. They didn't even post that link, and we had it for you guys ready. I know a lot of you guys are really upset with me for that, but look, I'm just trying to do my job, and I just want to help you guys cook. Whether it's for personals or for reselling, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just here to help you. Let's get started with September 1st. First of all, we got the Nike A1 Sunshine dropping September 1st for $115. These are going to be personals only. Then we got the Lego Nike Dunk Low Grade School sale, also September 1st for $120. These are also going to be personals only for your kids. Also September 1st, the Kobe 9 Low Protro Black University Gold is going to be dropping for $190, and surprisingly, these are also going to be personals only, most likely. Then September 2nd, we have the Nike Air Force 1 Low Medium Ash Anthracite Black dropping for $130. These are also going to be personals only. Don't worry, it picks up very soon, especially right now with a sleeper cook. And that is the Nike Book 1 Air Safari. This is one that you were probably considering sleeping on, but they actually have a little bit of potential, and that's because the stock is relatively low on these, and on top of that, it looks like there's some decent demand on them for the low retail of just $155. So dropping September 2nd. Keep your eye on these. Remember, Nike has free returns. There's absolutely no risk, so there might be some brick profit potential, especially if you have no tax. Nothing too crazy, though. Then September 3rd, we have more Harris Tweed Dunk Lows, and I know a lot of Dunk Lows end up bricking, and I know these look kind of crazy, but the last Harris Tweed Dunk Low ended up performing very well regardless of all that. And that pair is definitely more limited than these, but nonetheless, it goes to show that there is still demand when it comes to these collabs for Harris Tweed. So I think that these might have potential for some lunch money, maybe more than that. Right now, I'm going to keep it conservative and just expect lunch money, particularly on the large sizes, 11 and up. Nonetheless, it's a release to definitely keep your eye on, and I think a lot of people are just going to dismiss these, but I think that might be a mistake. Then on September 4th, we have a really big sleeper that I know a lot of people are going to ignore until after the fact. This is the Converse Shy 001 Butter. First of all, very cool concept, very cool sneaker, and a decent colorway, but most importantly, the stock on these is going to be very low at about 2,000 pairs, I believe, so far loaded. And retail is only $130, and yet demand is actually already looking pretty decent on these. So yeah, I think these are going to end up performing very well, more than lunch money. I think these should be some decent to good profit, maybe more than that. But yeah, I think you should go for these. Also on September 4th, we have the Supreme SB Dunk Lows dropping, at least on Supreme, I believe. I'm not 100% sure what the Nike date is going to be yet. Usually it's a little bit later. I'll keep you guys updated on that once it's confirmed. But yeah, I think Supreme should be dropping on September 4th for these, and there's only going to be two which are worldwide, which is going to be the white and black pair, and this makes sense from the stock numbers I gave you literally like a year ago because these were delayed. I told you guys a long time ago what this was going to look like for the most part, but white and black are going to have the highest stock. This makes sense. They're going to be the worldwide pairs. I'm still expecting both of those to be profitable with maybe a subpar margin, maybe just about lunch money for them, nothing too crazy. You might want to stick to the large sizes for them because retail is going to be $135. But then when it comes to the other pairs, like the blue pair, this pair I think is going to be US exclusive. And for this pair, I could see these being a little bit more profitable. And then even more so when it comes to the purple pair and the yellow pair. I think one of them is going to be for Europe, maybe the other for Asia. I'm not 100%. We'll see in a couple days for sure. But it should be in this order chronologically from most stock to least. It should be the black and white pairs with the most stock, followed by the blue pair, then the purple pair, and the yellow pair I believe is going to be the most limited. So that would mean the yellow pair is probably going to end up being the most profitable, followed by the purple pair, then the blue, then the white, and the black. So should go something like that. Nonetheless, obviously all of these are going to be worth going for to a degree at least. So keep your eye on these drops. Then we got the Ja 3 Hustle and Flow for $125 on September 5th. Definitely a very crazy one. Right now, it looks like there's decent demand on these, but stock is relatively high. Just for a Ja, at least at about like 6,000 pairs and change on Nike US alone. So I think these are probably going to end up just being personals. But right now, it looks like they have a little bit of potential. I just think the stock's a little bit too high for this colorway. Then another interesting one we have on September 5th for $140. The Chris Brickley Puma All Pro Nitro 2 Empire Legacy dropping for $140. I think these are probably going to end up being personals, but I will just say, keep your eye on them. I think there might be a chance that there's brick profit on these, but we'll see as we get a little closer to the drop. Then on September 6th, we got another collaboration. This is going to be the SB Dunk Low Limousine Skateboards on September 6th for $135. I don't think these are going to do well enough for profit. At best, just brick profit if you have no tax in your state on the larger sizes. I just don't think this collab was executed well. And yeah, a lot of Dunk Lows have been bricking even if they're collabs. I won't be surprised if these end up being bricks too. Also September 6th, we got the Book 1 Neon dropping for $145. Personals only for these two. And also to my surprise, we got the Jordan 4 Cavestone dropping on September 6th for $215. And while initially I was optimistic about these based off the stock that I've seen now and based off how low pre-sale is, I have to say these are just going to be personals, but very nice personals nonetheless, especially if you want a Travis sneaker but you can't afford those. This is definitely the next best thing. It gives off that same kind of vibe. Nice earthy tones too, great for fall coming up. So great Jordan 4 sneaker if you're looking for a great personal, but that's about it. Similarly, on September 9th for $185, we got the Jordan 1 High Baruch Brown in women's sizes. These are also just going to be personals, and in fact, you could get these for below retail in the secondary market, and they're probably going to go on sale too. But nonetheless, it's a great colorway if you can get them for cheap. Great for fall. Then on September 11th, we got the Dunk Low Pink Rise in women's sizes for $135. These are going to be personals only. Then September 12th, we got the Air Max 95 Purple Camo for $200. These are also going to be personals only. But then, very different from those, we got the Yu-Gi-Oh! Air Max 95s. These are definitely going to be profitable with a decent to good margin, especially because they're coming with an exclusive Yu-Gi-Oh card. And it doesn't matter if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh or not. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh collectors, there's a huge market for it, are going to be going after just this card, and they're not even going to care about the sneaker, already bringing a lot of demand and value to the purchase for this specifically. They're dropping for $210, but yeah, they're definitely going to resell. Even if you're not into Yu-Gi-Oh, it doesn't matter, guys. Like, there's a big market for these, and regardless of how you feel about how they look, I think these are going to perform very well, and stock is supposed to be pretty low too. I think I already made a short on them, but the actual numbers slipping my mind. Definitely check out my short on them though. Then on September 13th, we got the Nike SB P-Rod Bread for $115. Honestly, I don't know what to think about these right now because the retail is just so low. I think we're gonna have to wait until we get a little closer. Also on September 13th, we're getting the return of an absolute classic, and that is going to be the Jordan 5 Black Tongue Fire Red. So not the regular Fire Red 5, this is the Black Tongue Fire Red 5. A big fan favorite, and they're dropping for $210. Definitely need a personal of these, but based off of the stock numbers, there's about like 60,000 and change loaded onto Nike US alone right now. That very big number. I am not optimistic about these. I think these are probably going to end up being personals for the most part. Unless you have local buyers and you could avoid platform fees and you have no tax in your state, they're probably going to be mostly personals, even though demand looks really good right now because they're absolute classics. It's just the stock looks a little bit too high, in my opinion, for Jordan 5s. We'll see as we get closer, though, because Metallic 5 stock was pretty high, too, and those did really well. So these might have potential for lunch money. So definitely not firm on that. Another interesting one on September 15th for $155, we got the Nike Air Diamond Turf Must Be the Money. So sometimes these Air Diamond Turfs actually turn out to be sleeper cooks, and I really can see this colorway being one of them. It's got a really unique combination of colors while also giving off like old money tones almost. I think this was executed really well, especially for the Air Diamond Turf. I think they nailed it. So yeah, I think these might actually have some potential. Then on September 20th, the shoe that most people are most excited for in September, we got the three-way collaboration between Travis Scott Fragment and Jordan on the Travis Scott Fragment Jordan 1 Low. These look absolutely incredible. Obviously, if you love Travis Scott's, this is going to be a must cop for you, but they're not going to be easy to get. $150 retail, you could expect these to resell for an absolute ton. They're going to be extremely profitable with an incredible margin, full throttle on every single size you could get, obviously. No surprises here. Also on September 20th, but I suspect they might change this date. We'll see. We have the Jordan 3 Mexico El Vuelo, and these are going to be $230. I think these do have potential for some brick profit, maybe lunch money in the larger sizes, especially if you have no tax in your state. Nothing incredible, but I'll update you guys once I get the stock numbers for these. And then my personal favorite, my absolute grail of all time, and I think a lot of you guys too, we got the Tokyo Jordan 5 finally coming back on September 27th for $215. They're mostly just like the original, aside from the fact that there is a little bit of black on the toe box in the front. I'm fine with it, no big deal to me. I think they still look absolutely incredible. Apparently the rumored stock total is just 20,000, so they're choosing to keep these still limited, and I think that's a really good thing. Still expecting these to be very profitable with at least a good margin to great margin. Not like the Travis Scott's, but they're still going to be very profitable. Definitely want to go for every single size you could get your hands on. And finally, we got the Terror Squad Air Force 1 Low, this time in University Red. These were delayed. Now they're going to be dropping on September 30th for $150. Personals only for these though. And then also sometime in September, we should be seeing the Mars Yard 3.0 release. Obviously, this sneaker is a really big deal. The Mars Yard 2.0 is reselling for thousands of dollars, so is the 1.0. These are going to be very profitable too. They've already been releasing through the ISRU camp thing where you have to do activities, and I've been giving you guys updates videos on that. We've been posting all the little shortcuts and whatnot inside of Endurance, but aside from that, Nike Sneakers has stock too. Nike Sneakers is going to be dropping these. And remember guys, just in general, for any kinds of shock drops or sneakers hunts or whatever, all early info is always posted in Endurance, which you could join with the link in the description below. Not just that, but we give you competitive advantage for anything that resells, including Pokemon. Just recently, we had some great cookouts with our bypass links. But yeah, that's going to conclude it for the release of today. As you can see, September, there is a lot to look forward to.